Good morning. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Kamatara. We've got the full van today. We're excited to be with you on this beautiful last Sunday in October. And as we're having a great big old love fest right now, we're going to start with one of my favorite Michael Gott songs. Although you might be more familiar with Karen Drucker singing this, but either way, it's just like a big, delicious quilt of love you can just pull over yourself this morning and just sit in that beautiful spirit with us.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am. Letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes to see.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, then I go inside and quiet my mind. I hear Spirit gently say,
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, that sets us free. There is only love.
in this form of love, it is singing through my life. It is what I am, it's part of me. It's what I choose to be.
There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
Good morning. We have been waiting for you. Today is such a great day. Our topic is complaining and relationships. Do either of these have something to do with the other? And the other great thing that's happening today, right after service, is we're having our annual meeting. We'll be meeting a new board of trustees. We will look at our finances. We'll see what our accomplishments have been this year and where our community is going. So that is right after. It's on our Zoom instead of our social hall today. We'll be having that for our Zoom on a Zoom call. So if for some reason you don't have the link, please let us know. Either put it in chat, and we will try and get you. We will make sure or try and get you a link to the Zoom room today. So welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Reverend Martha Quintana. I am the senior minister here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, and I am so glad that you are here with me today. We are a center affiliated with the Centers for Spiritual Living, and what we teach is the science of mind. Which is defined, which is the study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. And this year, our center adopted a new mission and vision statement. So Annette will show that vision and mission on our website, and it says, our vision is transforming our world with the power of love in action. And our mission is loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. So that is what we're doing. And as always, even though it appears there are just a few people here, there are so many people assisting us with this. You've met the musicians and you'll meet them again a little bit later in our service. Today on Invocation, we have Lisa Kerr. Holding High Watch is Kathy Mathiasen. Teresa Grieco, we have Toby Pope, Greg Gardner, Julia Washington, Marilyn O'Leary. We have so many wonderful practitioners, 22 as a matter of fact, in our community. And they are all amazing and wonderful. And I'm so glad that if you haven't had time to talk with one, if life is going great or not, give one of our practitioners a call, because they know the truth of each of us, that we are whole, perfect, and complete, and they are happy to work with you. Finally, on audio and technical, we have today Annette Martinez, who does all the IT. She's in charge of all of the electronics here at the center and does an incredibly amazing, beautiful job. And we also have on soundboard today my beloved Mason Cressley, and our friend Mike Hacker is back. Yay! So he's upgrading his skills on the board, because we're in a brand new world, as you know. So without further ado, I am turning the service over to Lisa Kerr for an invocation. Lisa?
Thank you, Reverend Martha. And it is into this place of love that we find ourselves. We are surrounded by this thing called love that is God. And we know that God is everything. There is nothing that is not God. God is love. God is absolute love. God is goodness and peace and harmony, restitution and resolve, clarity, prosperity and abundance. And just as this is true for God, it is true for me, for I am who is God. I am not the creator, but a creation. For the innermost God and the outermost God are one and the same. I am absolute love. I am peace and abundance. I am joy and harmony. I am prosperity. I am calm. I have perfect health. And this, just as this is true for me, it is true for you. For each of us is part of that thing that we call God. Here, living our lives for God, as God, reporting back to God. Each of you is absolute love, peace, harmony, abundance, prosperity, joy, resolve. Each of you has each of these qualities in you, as you, through you. And I would like to bless in advance the words that are spoken during the service by Reverend Martha, knowing that each of you hears what you need to hear to make your week the perfect week that you need to have. I bless in advance the work of the musicians and the tech and sound desk and everybody else that's involved in this service, knowing that each of them gives from their heart to you from the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Namaste. And so it is.
Thank you, Lisa. That was beautiful. Our reading today comes from The Science of Mind, and in it, Ernest Holm talks about the law of attraction. If you'll remember, the law of attraction was a big subject in our country a few years ago, but it originated with Ernest Holmes and Science of Mind. And so people want a way of life that takes them where they want to go. It is the science of mind. It's not enough just to know positivity. What is it? How is it that we know this stuff? So today, from the Science of Mind, chapter 18, the law of attraction, second paragraph, it says, thought can attract to us that which we first mentally embody, that which has become a part of our mental makeup, a part of our inner understanding. Every person is surrounded by a thought atmosphere. Every person is surrounded by a thought atmosphere. This mental atmosphere is the direct result of his or her conscious and unconscious thought, which in its turn becomes the direct reason for cause and cause of that which comes into his or their life. Through this power, we are either attracting or repelling. Like attracts like, and it is also true that we may become attracted to something which is greater than our previous experience by first embodying the atmosphere of our desire. Thank you. And with that, I turn the service over to our musicians for a special song.
Thank you, Reverend Martha. Well, I'm happy to have mi esposo hermoso back from Las Cruces. So Ken is back, very happy. And of course, we have Andrew Cooper on vocals and A keeping us honest, playing the drums. Much appreciated. So this next song is by the band Sugarland, and it's off of their album called The Incredible Machine. The whole album is amazing. If you just want some good music, it's amazing. But this song in particular really speaks to my heart, and especially right now. It's about standing up and using your voice. I can't imagine a thing we need to do more of right now than that. So take it away, guys.
All the lonely people crying, it could change if we just got started. Lift the daughters, light a fire for the silent and broken hearted. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice?
There's a comfort, there's a feeling high above the pain and sorrow. Change is coming, can you feel it? Call and I send you a new tomorrow. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice? When the walls fall all around you, when your hope has turned to dust, let the sound of love surround you, be like a heart in each of us. Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice? Won't you stand up, stand Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up, you girls and boys? Won't you stand up, stand up, stand up? Won't you stand up and use your voice?
Ah, thank you. That was just perfect. And it was perfect for the talk today. Good morning again. I am so excited about this spiritual practice. As you know, we have been working with a complaint-free world, how to start living the life you've wanted it's a unity minister named Will Bowen. And Will asks us to become aware of how much we complain, because why? Happiness is what we're seeking. And whenever I seek happiness, it becomes all consuming, because my first relationship is with my thoughts. That's my first relationship. I have to believe in myself because I'm the only self I have. So everything originates here. What Bowen asks us to do is to look inside and to know what this happiness is that we're seeking. And so one of the spiritual practices that he asks us to entertain is becoming complaint free. So, all right, self report. I got 3 days of no complaining under my belt this week, 3 days. And so I was trying not to make my wrists raw and bloody, by flipping them over back and forth. So 3 days. But I saw online where someone in our congregation had gotten 6 days. And so she's my hero. Yay, go. I know you can do it. And so we are today complaining in relationships. How do the two work? Do they even work? Bowen starts out, and I love this. This is why I'm going to repeat this story. Bowen starts out with a guy from Albuquerque. The guy becomes aware that he's incredibly unhappy, and he phones his wife and says, "Can you check out some books for me from the library about how to be happy?" And among the stack of books she checked out was this book about a complaint-free world. So he began to do it. And one day he got home and he and his wife are kissing hello after a long day, and it's a long pronounced kiss. And his wife said, "Have you noticed we've been kissing more these days?" And he responded, "Yeah, it's because I'm complaining less." So that's what's going on here, is we are looking for complaint free, because what happens, and we heard it from Ernest Holmes, we create a mental atmosphere. And while it's true that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, if it squeaks too much, it becomes replaced. There's too much in it for us to continue to complain. What is the world that I want to create? What is the world that I want to see? So Bowen says, complaining may bring social benefits such as attention and sympathy. Some people's relationships are based primarily on complaining, but a person who complains in such relationships walks a fine line. Studies have found that chronic complainers can end up being ostracized even by others who complain, because their negative energy becomes excessively draining. And so why is it? What's in it for us? Eckhart Tolle talked about the pain body. There's a kind of endorphin that gets released when I have that pain. So if I come home and I recount a story that's just like, I'm releasing endorphins. And so I began to develop a pain body, a body that wants to do it. And why? Because ironically, I get a rush from that. If I am so involved in complaining and being miserable, then there is a pain body. Ernest Holmes says like attracts like, and ironically, so does Richard Bach in his book, Illusions. He says like attracts like. So what is the atmosphere that I'm creating that's attracting people to me? What is the atmosphere that I'm creating that puts me in relationship with my beloved, with my children, with my relationships, all of the relationships that I have in my life? What is that atmosphere I'm creating? One of the things that Bowen talks about, and this is so important. This is important not only in our personal, our intimate relationships with our family and friends, but this is important even in a community like Rio Grande Center. What's important is that if I have an issue with someone, that I go directly to that person. And that was why I love this song that the band was playing today. Use your voice. There's power in that. If there is something that someone is doing that I don't like, that imposes on my moment, that allows the beauty to be sucked out of my moment, then I need to go talk directly to that person. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I go complain to my friends, if I go talk to somebody else down the street. The dynamic that I've created with that person, and I'm saying I've created the dynamic that I've created. And it's an I, because remember that the first relationship I have is with my thought, So if I'm projecting that I don't like this person, I have a resentment, I've created a resentment, and my God, it's there. I'm the one that's holding that resentment. It is my vessel holding the pain body. It's this being that is not allowing me to speak directly to that person. Bowen told a story of a large church where one of the ministers complains to another minister about a third minister and how poorly the third minister was leading the congregation. The minister that was listening leans over and he grabs the phone and he calls the guy that is being complained about. And he says, "Hello? Apparently Joe has a problem with the way you're leading. I'll leave you guys to it." And so he handed the phone to the first minister who came in doing the complaining, and he left the room. The first minister couldn't find it in himself to talk to the guy directly. He made some excuses and awkwardly hung up the phone. Triangulation is toxic. Unless I'm willing to go to that person directly and not tell everybody about it, but just go directly to that person and say, what is it that's in my heart, that's on my mind? So often that even happens with couples. Bowen gives another example of a couple who befriended another couple, and they found that when they were with each other, with the couple one-on-one, that each were complaining about the other. And it became so incessant that they didn't want to hang out with that couple anymore. This couple had become toxic to each other and toxic to people around them because they were unwilling to talk with each other about what it was in their heart and in their mind. So if happiness is a choice, if I want to be happy, it's not that I put aside that thing that is making me unhappy. What it is that I look at it as an obstacle to this happiness. And if it is with my beloved spouse, if it's with my family, my friends, I need to go directly to them and say, this is what is on my heart. This is what is in my mind. And I would like to clear it up with you so that we can both be happy again. Happiness is a choice. And so in that happiness, to get that person and you, the friend, the family, We get to be healthy together. I get to use my voice. And sometimes, if there is a relationship that is so abusive that one of the partner's voice can't be heard, then that's the answer too. Complaining doesn't help. What does help is to stand in my own happiness and say, this is who I am. I am a happy person. And dude, you are raining on my parade. I need to be able to stand in peace in my own life, in joy and happiness. And then finally, Bowen talks about some people who do this. And my God, I've really been tempted. He says some people take off the bracelet and put it on the counter. They don't even look at it again because not complaining becomes too hard. And if I want to live in a complaint-free world, then it starts with me. I have to lead by example. And he asks each of us to lead by that example of not complaining. But again, the reason for not complaining isn't just solely so I don't complain. It's because it's so that I am bringing my happiness forth. So I'm not being pushed by the pain of my complaint anymore. I'm being pulled by the vision of my happiness. I'm being pulled by the vision of my peace. I am being pulled to my next highest and greatest if I can stand in the goodness of my own being. So today, this week, if there is something on your heart, get into the happy place and then speak with that person about what it is that needs to happen. Speak directly. Try to avoid triangulation. My God, that's because it's too easy. My friend, listen, I got a problem with this person over here. So this week we avoid that. We speak directly. We become a complaint-free world. Namaste. So now is our time for our it's our prayer time. And I would invite all of the practitioners, wherever you are in the world, to please stand with me, surround our congregation with your wonderful energy. If you are a practitioner or a minister and aren't part of our congregation, please stand with me too, for we all need the blessing. Thank you. And so what I know in this moment is that there is only love. Love is all there is. And as my friend Reverend Patrick has said so often, the rest we make up. And so I know in this moment that this love is everywhere, ubiquitous, happy, joyous, free. For truly, it is all there is. And I am one with this love. I am one with it in such beautiful and powerful ways. I am one with this love in the goodness of my heart, in the joy of my being. And I stand with it so perfectly that all is well. And as I know this love for me, I know it for every single person who hears me right now, who sees me later, who is part of a family that is part of this congregation. All are love and unified with it in this moment. In this moment, I affirm and declare for all of us happiness, a happiness so profound that each of us stand in the belief of self, that each of us stand in the goodness of our own beings, and that this goodness goes out to every single person in our lives and beyond. For every person we touched is touched by others, and they are touched by our others. And in this moment, each of us becomes a beacon of light in this complaint-free world. In this circle of love and energy, I call our friend Sherry and her wife Carol, who are going through complete transformation today. As Sherry takes flight from this physical world, she is surrounded by angels, surrounded by our love. And I know in this moment that that love that we have for her and she for us is a bridge of communication. For truly our Sherry is wonderful and beautiful in our sight and in the sight of God. I'm so grateful. I am grateful today for a successful annual meeting. I'm grateful for this Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, for who we are and what we do. I am so grateful. And so it is with great, great gratitude that I release my word, knowing it cannot come back to me void, knowing that as I've spoken, it is done. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, practitioners. And now is the time when we share our abundance with each other. Today at the annual meeting, you'll be able to hear a little bit more about our financial condition. You know, we're doing the best we can around here, and we are going to be starting our pledge campaign soon. And just know that if we want our community to survive, we have to give to it our treasure, our time, our consciousness, because this community, when we give to each other. And there isn't anyone outside of us who gives. There isn't the home office doesn't have a fund for centers, none of that. So everything that we raise, it's because we raise it right from within our congregation. And I appreciate you for your generosity and for your goodness and for your vision with us. And so if you would with me, say the affirmation of abundance. I am abundant and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous and I give from my prosperity. I am blessed and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously, and so it is. Thank you. And now I turn our service back over to the musicians for another special song.
Thanks, Reverend Martha, and thank you so much for the gifts that you share. Our gift to you today, little Cat Stevens. Can't have enough. And for those of you, maybe, Yosef Islam, you could go either way on that one, but still, he's the man.
Don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by. And don't wear fear, and nobody will know you're there. Just lift your head and let your feelings out instead. And don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by, 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 on by. You know love is better than a song, and love is where all of us belong. So don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by. And don't wear fear, nobody will know you're there. You're there, 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 you're there. So don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by. And don't wear fear, nobody will know you're there. Just lift your head and let your feelings out instead. And don't be shy, just let your feelings roll on by, 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 on by.
Thank you so much. I love that. Oh, thank you for your generosity. And if you would, I would love to bless these donations and know that every dollar that is given today to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living goes out into the world to do our bidding, that it multiplies 10 million fold, that all people on the planet might know what it is to live in unity, to live in harmony, to have a mental atmosphere so pervasive of love, so love pervasive that we all know is goodness. And likewise, every dollar flows back to each giver that it may multiply in their coffers a millionfold as well, 10 millionfold, that each might know what it is to live in abundance. And so it is. Amen. Well, if you're new today, thank you for joining us. I am so grateful that you've taken the time to spend this morning with us. We are a member of the Centers for Spiritual Living. We are part of the Science of Mind. It's a philosophy where on the face of it, it appears simple, but it isn't easy. To stand in the absolute goodness of one's own soul and to know that goodness every minute of every day and not succumb to these conditions of this planet. That's a rough one some days. And so we're glad you're here and that you can join with us, for truly we are an army of light workers, and I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm grateful you're here with me. All right. So a couple of announcements right after this service this morning. What is normally our social hall is going to be our annual meeting. So I invite you to the annual meeting. You should have been mailed a link. If not, please let us know and we'll make sure that you get that link to the annual meeting this morning, and we'll do the business of church. We come together every year to do the business of church. So that'll happen right after. And then next week, if you can believe it, is November 1st. And November 1st is Dia de los Muertos, All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. And we are celebrating this year by doing a very special blessing for all of the people who passed this year. And if you would, please send me a picture and the name of a person that you care about who has passed this year. We are going to make every person part of the ceremony next week. So this week, please mail that to me. You can mail it either to rev.martha@rgcsl.org, rev.martha@rgcsl.org, or to office@rgcsl.org, office@rgcsl.org. And CJ or I will make sure your loved one is part of the ceremony. And even if not, we'll make sure that all people are included. And this year is particularly important because so many folks that have passed this year haven't been able to have a memorial service because of this pandemic. So please, let's come together as a community and celebrate those people who've gone before us. So with the rest of it, we are sending out a newsletter every week that allows everyone to know what's going on. If you haven't subscribed to that newsletter, please go to our website, rgcsl.org, and sign up for our newsletter. That's the way that we keep in contact with everyone. Annette also does a fantastic job of posting a calendar of events on our website. And so go to our website, rgcsl.org, and we will stay in touch with each other. All right. So I think that's the end. We'll bring our Lisa back on. And if you would just throw your arms around you in a big hug. And if you would say with me, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Have a great week. See you in a moment in the Zoom room.
Leaves are green, red roses too. I see them bloom